Welcome to my top 10 RPG games growing up. Now, to be clear, I didn't play a lot of the more famous games such as Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VII until I was older, so games like that aren't going to be on this list. This is strictly what I played when I was a kid. But with that stuff out of the way, let's get on to the list. Coming in at number 10, we have Illusion of Gaia. This game was really interesting to me because of the different abilities you would learn as you leveled up. I would get so excited whenever Will would turn into the Dark Knight Freedom because then I could really kick some butt. I also really enjoyed the story that was being played. There are so many puzzles to solve and a few times I got stuck, but I still love this game. At number 9, we have Zelda: A Link to the Past. When I played this game, I was a little too young to understand it fully. I got most of what was going on, but when I got older and played again, I was finally able to beat the game. I love this game simply for the years spent playing it blindly. And for number 8, we have Secret of Evermore. The main thing that attracted me to this game was that your pet dog traveled with you and would fight with you too. This was something I hadn't seen before. I also really enjoyed the storyline taking me through the different eras in time. The alchemy system was also a new way of handling magic and I really enjoyed it. The other awesome thing about this game was that your dog morphed whenever you went to a new era. In at number 7 is Breath of Fire 2. I first watched my cousin play this game for a while before I was finally able to borrow it and play it myself. Because of this, I only had bits and pieces of the story. Once I finally started playing the game for myself, I was blown away by how in-depth the story was from beginning to end. I loved that all the characters represented different animals, and I was even happier when I learned that the shamans changed them. As a kid, I never knew about the hidden character, but when I found out later, I was impressed that a character from the first game was in the second one. For number 6, we have Phantasy Star 4. This was one of the very first RPG games that I ever beat on my own, and I remember being so proud of myself for doing it. This game was very interesting to me because even though the game's world was lacking technology, there was evidence of it existing once before. And then all the space travel and other planets got thrown at me and completely blew my mind. I also really enjoyed how you could pick your party at the end of the game. Well, sort of. The story of this game was a little slow at times, but still had some pretty wild curveballs from time to time. But even though it was a little slow, I still enjoyed it. Halfway now, at number 5, is Tales of Destiny. This was the very first PlayStation RPG I had played, and it really got me into playing more of them due to the massive difference in graphics and quality from the previous systems. I really enjoyed the story involving the Swordians and the previous civilization that created them, as well as all the fun puzzles the game had. The fighting style in this game was also new to me and was very fun since it was so hands-on. Here in 4th place is Final Fantasy Tactics. I honestly can't guess how many hours, or days even, that I have spent playing this game. In fact, I still play it to this day. This was the very first strategy-style RPG that I had ever played, and luckily, I understood what was going on. One of the main things I love so much about this game is how diverse the party can be, since you are able to create whatever you want if you are willing to put in the time. The story is also very gripping, and I constantly found myself rushing ahead and dying because I would be too eager to play more of it and forget to level up skills. If you have played this on multiple systems, the experience only gets better. And even if you haven't, it's still an awesome game. At number 3, we have Breath of Fire 3. I remember when I finally got a dragon form in this game and was amazed that I could control it. It was no longer a spell and was an actual form I could use. And not only that, but there were so many different combinations which resulted in different dragon forms. This was the best thing about this game in my opinion. The story was really amazing too, and I loved that my character aged up during the game. I also enjoyed how you could learn skills from monsters and use them yourself. For number 2, we have Final Fantasy III. This game has one of the best stories I've ever played. And not only that, you get a huge amount of characters, so you are able to make up your own personalized team of favorites. Espers were a little hard for me to figure out in the beginning, but easily made sense once I started getting more of them. And I really enjoyed how the whole world was affected by what was going on in the game. This game also introduced me to just how evil villains could be. And finally, at number 1, we have Golden Sun: The Lost Stage. To be clear, both games are amazing and in my opinion need to be played in order. But even if you don't play the first one, you can still enjoy the second one just as much. I couldn't get over how amazing the Elemental Djinn system was, considering it boosted your elemental properties, but also could change them, resulting in a completely different character. The second installment has so much more content than the first one, and it's all just as exciting from beginning to end. With all the different spells that could be used outside of combat to solve all the interesting and challenging puzzles, this game was and always will be one of my most favorite games to play over and over again. And this concludes my top 10 RPG games growing up. I know there are some games not on this list that probably don't make sense, but I simply didn't play them until I was much older, so I kept them off this list for that reason. What do you think of my list, and what are some of your favorite games from your childhood? Please let me know in the comments, and if you're feeling generous, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day!